And welcome back to PSA TV. This is the Wake Up Call here. I am your host, Christy Kalising. Now, last evening we saw more than 50 workers from the Chaguaramas Development Authority holding a major protest. They have not received a salary increase for the past 6 years. Joining me on the telephone line this morning, I have the first Deputy President General and the Acting President General of the Government and Federated Workers Union, NUGFW, Mr. Christopher Street. Good morning to you, Mr. Street.
Pleasant good morning to you, and pleasant good morning to all that have tuned into this wonderful station.
How are you this morning?
Blessed.
All right, so yesterday you would have led a group of CDA workers to a protest. Many issues were highlighted, of course, the main being no salary increase for the past 6 years. Just tell me a bit about what would have led you to take that action.
Okay, I want to mention it wrong. The workers led me.
The workers led you?
Yes, the workers would have come to the union sometime on last week, Thursday. While they would have been, protesting and complaining about the issues, last Thursday they felt that they had enough, and they came to the union in that they wanted the support of the union in highlighting their issues to the nation. These workers, the rated workers, would not have had an increase in wages since 2013. These workers continue to exist on 2013 wages. Firstly, to get to work, the cost of transportation, let's start there. Mm-hmm. In 2013, as opposed to 2019, that is for the workers to get to work so that they can perform their daily duty. What would have been the cost of transportation in 2013 as opposed to 2019? So we're treating with that. Apart from themselves, their families would also have been exposed to these increasing costs. We're not talking about the market. We're not talking about the supermarket. We're not talking about school fees. We're not talking about other items that workers would normally spend their wages on. So these workers felt that apart from not having any increase in wages, the employer have not had the decency. They have a legal obligation to call the union every 3 years to have negotiations. They have had not the common decency, even though it's a legal obligation, to call the union and make some kind of proposal. Whether or not the union would agree or accept as the workers, that's a different thing. But they are shirking their responsibility as an employer, not in keeping with good industrial relation practice, where they are ignoring the legitimate claim of the workers and the union. So the workers felt that they needed to come and highlight to Trinidad and Tobago the kind of atrocities that they are facing by that employer that is called the Chaguaramas Development Authority and the people who represent the CDA at this time.
Now, I don't know if you would have seen, but the CDA itself issued a press release late last night. And I'm just going to read briefly from the press release here. It says, the Chaguaramas Development Authority is currently engaged in a staff rationalization exercise at the authority, which has become necessary in light of their inability to cover its operational expenditure. This exercise seeks to address staffing concerns, as there are 200 employees employed at the CDA, whereas the estimate expenditure for statutory bodies from the Ministry of Finance provides for a structure of 132 employees, and personal expenditure accounts for approximately 72% of income at the CDA. The management has therefore commenced discussions with the respective unions on the staff regularization exercise, and the process is ongoing. And of course, that was issued there by the Order of Management of the CDA. Your thoughts on this?
The CDA have not engaged the NUGFW in no way concerning what they would have sent out broadcast last night. It's only after the action by the union and the workers yesterday we got information that they would be willing to meet with the union this coming Monday. The NUGFW is the recognized majority union We have a certificate of recognition. We are responsible for bargaining for on behalf of the ameliorated employees at the CDA. How could the CDA issue a communique like that, talking in terms of issues that will affect the staff and have had no discussion whatsoever? We don't negotiate in the public. We are the recognized majority union. They have an obligation to call and meet and treat with us. So maybe our actions yesterday would have forced them to say something.
Yeah, I think
they
it
had to
triggered
say
something. Yeah.
You know, so we in fact totally ignoring what they would have put in the public domain. There is a forum, there is a process by which if CDA has issues that they would address the union. And we would want to let the CDA know that we would not be taking anything that we hear in the public domain that would affect workers, and they would have not addressed the recognizement. That is very disrespectful and unbecoming of an employer, right? It shows the lack of regard and respect that CDA has for its employees and the union, the recognized majority union that represents them. So when we meet with them on Monday, we would want to hear what would have caused them to, one, not call the union. That calling the union to the table has nothing to do with money. Calling the union to the table has to do with respect and recognizing your legal obligation towards the union and the workers that you're employed. What that has to do with money, right? In terms of their structure and the whole management or mismanagement of the CDA, when they call the union, we will be able to point out to them that we as the workers, we are not responsible for whatever financial or other dilemma that they would have find themselves in. And that is the norm. People would run down an organization, and at the end of the day, the workers are called upon to make the sacrifice for what persons who would have been placed in authority by politicians and others, and then at the end of the day, the workers are the ones who they always call on to make the sacrifice. You know, so we are looking forward to the meeting on Monday, and we would want to hear what the CDA has to say. We will decide how we would treat with whatever information they would give to us in going forward. Right. So we'll look forward to the meeting.
Okay, Mr. Street, thank you so much for your contribution this morning.
You're very welcome, my dear.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yes, may you all have a blessed day, and the rest of Trinidad and Tobago. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, so there you go. Just a quick response there from Christopher Street. He is the first President General and acting President General of the Government and Federated Workers Union. Of course, responding to a press release that was issued late last night by the CDA indicating that there are some actions, some possible coming actions of staff regularization oncoming. So take care, and we're going to toss to a really short break right now. And when we come back, I'm joined on set by none other than Dr. Wayne Koblau Singh. Stay with us.